The world watched with bated breath. White smoke billowed from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel. A new pope had been chosen. The anticipation was palpable. Who would lead the Catholic Church into the future? Then, the announcement rang out. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, Cardinal Archbishop of Manila, had been elected the 266th Pope of the Catholic Church. He would take the name Pope Francis II. The choice was historic. Never before had a man from Asia ascended to the papacy. The weight of the moment was not lost on the newly elected pontiff. He stepped onto the balcony, a humble figure in white, his eyes filled with a mixture of awe and determination. This was a man of deep faith, a pastor who had spent his life serving the poor and marginalized. From the Philippines to Argentina, the spirit of unity and celebration was palpable. From the bustling cities of Europe, where historic cathedrals stood as silent witnesses to the joy, to the remote villages of Africa, where communities gathered in open fields under the vast sky, a wave of jubilation swept the globe. It was a moment that transcended borders and cultures, uniting people in a shared sense of joy and hope. Catholics and non-Catholics alike felt the impact of this historic moment. It was a testament to the universal appeal of the message of unity and love. There was a sense of hope, a feeling that something truly special had taken place. People from all walks of life came together, their hearts filled with a renewed sense of purpose and connection. In Manila, where Tagle had served as Archbishop, the streets erupted in joyous celebration. The city, known for its vibrant culture and deep faith, became a beacon of joy. People danced, sang, and waved flags. The air was filled with music and laughter, a true celebration of life and faith. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the sound of church bells ringing. It was a sensory experience that touched the soul. It was a fiesta of faith, a testament to the love and admiration the Filipino people had for their beloved cardinal, now the leader of the Catholic Church. The streets were alive with a sense of pride and devotion. Across the world in Buenos Aires, where then Cardinal Bergoglio had served as Archbishop, similar scenes unfolded. The city, known for its passionate spirit, mirrored the celebrations in Manila. Argentinians poured into the streets, their faces alight with pride and joy. The sense of community and shared happiness was overwhelming. Here was a man who had walked among them, who had shared their joys and sorrows, now elevated to the highest position in the Catholic Church. His journey from the streets of Buenos Aires to the Vatican was a source of immense pride and inspiration for many. Pope Francis II's first words to the world were simple, yet profound. They echoed through the vast expanse of St. Peter's Square, reaching the hearts of millions watching from around the globe. Brothers and sisters, he began, his voice filled with emotion. Good evening. It was a greeting that felt personal, as if he was speaking directly to each individual in the crowd. The crowd roared with laughter and applause. It was a moment of connection, a shared joy that transcended barriers and brought people together in a collective embrace. Here was a pope who was not afraid to be himself, a pope who spoke with humility and warmth. His smile was genuine, his words sincere, and his presence comforting. His message was one of gratitude, of unity, and of love. He thanked the people for their support and emphasized the importance of coming together as one community, united in faith and purpose. He spoke of the need for the church to be a poor church for the poor. This was not just a call to action, but a fundamental shift in perspective, urging the church to align itself with the marginalized and the downtrodden. He called for a renewed focus on the gospel message of mercy and compassion. His words were a reminder of the core values of Christianity, urging believers to live out these principles in their daily lives. And he pledged to be a shepherd to all, regardless of their background or beliefs. This inclusivity was a hallmark of his papacy, reflecting a commitment to embrace diversity and foster a sense of belonging for everyone. "I am a sinner," he confessed, his voice trembling slightly. This admission of vulnerability was a powerful moment, showing that even the Pope is not above the human condition. But I trust in the mercy and love of God. His faith was unwavering, and his trust in divine grace was evident in every word he spoke. These words resonated deeply with the faithful. The crowd was visibly moved, many with tears in their eyes, feeling a profound connection to their new spiritual leader. Here was a pope who was not afraid to acknowledge his own humanity, his own need for God's grace. This honesty and humility endeared him to many, making his message all the more powerful. It was a refreshing change, a sign that this papacy would be different. Pope Tagle's approach signaled a new era for the Church, one that promised to be more inclusive, compassionate, and attuned to the needs of the modern world. As Pope Francis II spoke, a hush fell over St. Peter's Square. Millions around the world listened intently, their hearts touched by his words. There were tears of joy, tears of hope, tears of a faith rekindled. Here was a leader who spoke to their souls, who understood their struggles and aspirations. Social media exploded with messages of support and excitement. Pope Francis II trended worldwide as people from all walks of life shared their thoughts and reactions. The overwhelming sentiment was one of optimism and anticipation. This was a new chapter for the Catholic Church, a chapter filled with promise and possibility. The world's media was equally captivated. Newspapers and websites around the globe splashed images of the new Pope across their front pages. Commentators hailed his election as a watershed moment for the Church, a sign that it was ready to embrace change and renewal. A vision for the future mercy, inclusion, and modernization. Pope Francis II outlined a bold vision for the future of the Church, a vision rooted in the gospel values of mercy, compassion, and inclusion. He spoke of the need to build bridges, not walls, and to welcome all people into the embrace of the Church. He called for a more just and equitable world, where the poor and marginalized are lifted up, and where all people have the opportunity to reach their full potential. He challenged the faithful to be agents of change, to work for peace, justice, and reconciliation in their own communities and around the world. Recognizing the evolving needs of the modern world, he emphasized the importance of dialogue and engagement. He called for a church that is open to the signs of the times, a church that listens to the voices of the young, the marginalized, and those on the peripheries. Confronting the shadows, Tagle acknowledges the Church's challenges. Pope Francis II did not shy away from the challenges facing the Church. He acknowledged the pain caused by past scandals and failings. With humility and honesty, he pledged to address these issues with transparency and accountability, seeking healing and reconciliation for all those who had been hurt. He spoke of the need for the Church to be a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. He called for a renewed commitment to the gospel message of love, forgiveness, and redemption. He recognized the growing tide of secularism and indifference to faith. He challenged the faithful to be bold in their witness, to share the joy of the gospel with a world hungry for meaning and purpose. A shepherd's strength Tagle's plan for a more just and compassionate world. Pope Francis II's vision extended beyond the walls of the Church. He spoke passionately about the need for peace, justice, and environmental stewardship. He called for an end to war, poverty, and inequality. He challenged world leaders to work together to address the root causes of conflict and suffering. He urged individuals to embrace a spirit of solidarity, to recognize that we are all interconnected and responsible for one another. He emphasized the importance of caring for God's creation. He called for responsible stewardship of the environment, urging action to combat climate change and protect the planet for future generations. Hope springs eternal. A global community embraces a brighter future. Pope Francis II's election ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of millions. His message of mercy, inclusion, and compassion resonated deeply with people of all faiths and backgrounds. It was a call to build a better world, a world where love conquers hate, and where hope triumphs over despair. As the sun began to set over St. Peter's Square, casting a warm glow on the assembled crowds, there was a palpable sense of anticipation. The reign of Pope Francis II had just begun. What would the future hold? The world watched, waited, and prayed. The challenges were great, but so too was the hope that this new Pope, with his humble spirit and his compassionate heart, could help to usher in an era of peace, unity, and love. A time for action and renewal. Pope Francis II's message was clear. The time for complacency is over. We can no longer sit idly by as the world faces unprecedented challenges. The time for action is now. Each of us has a role to play in this transformative journey. He called on all people of goodwill to join him in building a more just, compassionate, and sustainable world. This is not just a call to the faithful, but to every person who believes in the power of collective action. He reminded the faithful that the gospel is not a spectator sport. It demands our active participation and commitment. It is a call to action, a call to love our neighbors, to extend our hands in friendship and solidarity, to care for the poor and marginalized, to ensure that no one is left behind in our pursuit of a better world, to be peacemakers and reconcilers. In a world often divided by conflict and misunderstanding, we must be the bridge builders. The election of Pope Francis II was a moment of great significance for the Catholic Church and for the world. It marked a new chapter of hope and renewal. It was a sign that change is possible, that hope endures, and that we can overcome even the greatest of challenges, and that love will always have the final word. Love is the force that binds us together and propels us forward. The journey ahead will be challenging, filled with obstacles and trials, but with faith, hope, and love as our guide, we can navigate these challenges and emerge stronger. We can build a brighter future for all, a future where every person is valued and respected. The time is now to answer the call, to rise to the occasion and make a difference, to embrace the vision of Pope Francis II, a vision of unity, compassion, and action, and to work together to create a world where all people can live in peace, dignity, and harmony. This is our moment, our time to shine. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.